Sorry, just hang on.
So I think I'll just like to introduce three very special women who I adore. So I'm Nicola Elwood. I'm a physio and mum and oil advocate, a wellness advocate. And these are three of my very dear friends from all different walks of life. And it gives me great joy to introduce them and have them together. And I think they'll introduce themselves as they go and a little bit about their background. But they're three women that I really respect and admire. They do the work in their own lives, in their own homes. This isn't just they've got a wealth of experience and knowledge, and they keep continuing and trying things. We're all on this journey, finding new tools and new ways to navigate life. And sometimes we get it right, and sometimes we need to keep trying. And yeah, they've just got so much to offer and to share. So I'm looking forward to hearing from them. So Sol and Brand and everyone, over to you and Nix.
Thanks, Nix, for that. Yeah, we have the same amount of respect and love for you too. And me especially, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be sitting here. Anyway, welcome everyone to our discussion on anxiety. It's great to have you join us as we unpack such a hot topic. A little bit of background on myself. I'm a mother of 2 teenagers, a marketing entrepreneur, and I'm passionate about kids and sport. I'm joined by 2 wonderful like-minded ladies who are not only experts in their field, but who bring clarity on a situation we can all relate to right now. So firstly, let's meet the ladies who I have so much admiration and respect for, and I'm going to hand over to Sal.
Hi, I'm Sally Knott. I have a background in food technology. I trained as a chef at the Ballymaloe Cookery School in Ireland, and I'm an integrative nutrition health coach. I'm a wife and a mum to 3 young teenage kids.
And I'm Nikki Hutton. I'm feeling extremely anxious right now because my computer just glitched and I'm now sitting in my husband's makeshift office. So I'm trying to...
You've muted yourself, Nix.
No, I muted you. Sorry, Nix. I was trying to unmute the person below you who just come in. Sorry.
Nick. Gave me a moment to just calm down. So I'm also a mother of 3, a clinical psychologist. I recently studied functional medicine, and I'm busy completing a culinary nutrition expert course. And I'm a breathwork practitioner. And I'm just really excited to share some of these things with all of you tonight. Oh, and just one quick thing before we carry on, that this is for educational purposes only, and obviously please don't stop any of your prescription medications. Don't start. This is purely information which we've put together and gathered, but purely for educational purposes. So we thought we'll start with a mindful moment. I'm not sure if this is more for us than for you, being women who generally work in a one-on-one environment. So talking to a whole lot of people is always stressful. So just give yourself a moment. So sit in your chair, make yourselves comfortable, and just feel your feet on the ground, sit in an upright posture. And if you're comfortable, just start to just take in your surroundings. Just look at the space around you, take in the room, notice any colors, textures, any shadows or the fall of the light. Perhaps just seeing things as if for the first time. Noticing and really seeing as opposed to just glancing and looking at something. And then begin to bring your awareness to sounds around you. Starting with sounds in the distance, as far away as you can hear. And not necessarily labeling the sounds, not judging whether they're good or bad, or nice, not nice. Just letting them land on your ears and on your body. Allowing your body to hear and observe them. And now if you'd like to just close your eyes or soften your gaze, Just notice perhaps how by closing your eyes, it affects the hearing of the sounds around you. And allow your attention to drop closer, listening to sounds more immediately around you in the room, perhaps even hearing your heartbeat or your breath. And allow your attention to continue to drift closer and closer until it lands softly in your body and on that breath. A little bit like a leaf that might drift down and land on the surface of a pond. Noting the sounds of your body and your breath. And feeling into the points of contact between your body and the chair as it supports you. Allowing yourself to just let go and soften. Feeling that support of the chair and receiving its support. Dropping into the contact of your feet on the floor, how they connect with the earth beneath you. And allowing your feet to soften and sink into the earth, feeling the support of the earth and receiving that support too. And finally, letting your awareness settle on your breath, that continuous rhythm of the inhale as it turns to the exhale, and the exhale as it turns to the inhale. The pulse of life in your chest, knowing that with each breath it reminds us that everything has a beginning and an end. And perhaps allowing a sigh as your body and breath settle into this moment of now. The only moment we really have and the only moment we can affect. And so holding on to this gift of now, feeling a little bit more at peace and at ease and grounded. Making that intention to bring your full awareness into this moment. Take one final deep breath in and allow yourself to just sigh it out. And come back to the Zoom room, perhaps just recognize the faces and the people on Zoom and the faces on the screen. And offer a smile or a wave, and we can continue.
Sure, next. It'd be really wonderful to introduce a 15-minute mindful moments in the schools to start the day. I think it could be very helpful. So my journey has been as a mom with a child who has ADHD, and clearly my ADHD has kicked in because I've gone straight in without anybody catching their breath after that wonderful moment. It seems that so many children these days are diagnosed with ADHD, and it brings other challenges like anxiety. And I think the big question is it ADHD or is it anxiety? In any event, I was looking for a more holistic approach to helping my children with anxiety and the side effects of Ritalin. And it so happened that early in November 2019, I met a friend for coffee, and after hearing my story and the frustrations of all these scripts of medication, she suggested I try doTERRA essential oils to support my children. And I must admit, at the time, it sounded a little bit far-fetched, but I was so... I was really desperate, I guess, and willing to really try anything. So these oils, the doTERRA essential oils, have really been life-changing. Not only have they helped my children with anxiety and focus, as well as sleep, they're now part of our daily lives, and we use them all the time. For me, the most important thing is the purity of the doTERRA essential oils. There are no contaminants, there are no fillers in the oils. And the potency, well, one drop really does go a long way. So a single drop of doTERRA peppermint oil is equivalent to 25 cups of tea, just to give you an idea. What does potency mean? The plant is grown in the part of the world where it is indigenous. So lavender is harvested in France and Bulgaria and not in a greenhouse, because this is where lavender grows the best, and therefore it has the highest therapeutic grade, which results in the absolute best chemistry for the plant, and therefore it does what it is meant to do for our health. doTERRA created the certified pure tested grade protocol. So the CPTG process includes rigorous examination of every batch of oil, along with third-party testing to guarantee the transparency. So every bottle of oil is tested 54 times. 11 of these tests are done outside by an independent company, the Aromatic Plant Research Center, and that is why they are 100% safe to take internally, because you know exactly what is in the bottle. So while my children were at home, online schooling during lockdown last year, it gave me the opportunity to really take matters into my own hands. I diffused wild orange in my son's room while he was online to help with focus. And at night, I put lavender and frankincense in the diffuser for sleep. And I made up various rollers as well, using the doTERRA essential oils to support them for anxiety. And in fact, we were all using the oils for anxiety, I think, during that time and definitely afterwards, and we continue to. It was great to have tools to support us when we were locked at home and we couldn't necessarily get out to get to a chemist or a pharmacist. So the oils came just at the right time. So it's through these oils that I met Nikki and Sel. And yeah, they really are great friends and great source of knowledge as well.
And what a blessing that was, hey, Brens. Yeah. I'd like to just add a little bit of something along with the purity and potency, something that people might find interesting, and why the essential oils work as well as they do. And it's got to do with the part of our brain called the amygdala, which plays a major role in storing and releasing emotional trauma. And this is why they work so well. We smell them and it stimulates this part of our brain, the seat of the emotions. So they won't necessarily cure disease, but are a natural solution to reduce anxious feelings, reduce fear, grief, sadness, and improve mood and energy. Essential oils are in essence the natural compounds that keep plants healthy. And so by using them, ingesting them, smelling them, they keep us healthy too. The olfactory nerve, which processes smell and taste, accesses the brain with zero security clearance, so straight in. So it's the quickest way to trigger a response in your brain. I found that really interesting and useful. I think we can all relate to this olfactory sense. For me, the smell of cinnamon just takes me right back to my granny's kitchen and baking with her. So such a powerful scent in terms of taking us back to places, some good, some bad. Brens, I mean, on the anxiety side, I certainly have seen a huge increase in my practice in terms of anxiety and depression, both in children and adults. I think parents have had so much to deal with in the past 2 years, juggling work and coping with so much, working from home. I think many people are pressed financially, marital discord, and then just a general increase in anxiety just around COVID and the virus and what it all entails. I think right now people are tired, they're disillusioned, they're kind of a bit over the new normal, and we've sort of seen a real lack of affection and hugs and connection. And with this isolation, we've had an increase in screen time, decreased sleep, not necessarily great nutrition sometimes. And so all of these things lead to symptoms of anxiety and depression. So for me, I use 5 pillars, which I call my seeds. And they are social connection, eating, exercise, de-stress, and sleep. And I like the analogy of a seed because it is about growth. So I think we've all had a good taste of a lack of social connection and what that's done to so many people. And I think it's just important to use these as little check-ins and even to ask yourself regularly, have you connected with family or friends who bring you joy and who lift that happiness quotient, as it were? The second seed for me is eating, and one which is just a passion of mine, as it is with for Sel. And I recently read a quote by Philip Pinnell that says, "The seat of insanity lies in the gut." And I think there's more and more research into the connection between gut and brain health. In terms of eating, I've recently done a paper on anxiety and nutrition. And it certainly suggests that we need to balance our blood sugar, and Sel's going to go into that extensively. And from a functional medicine and culinary nutrition point of view, it certainly is about reducing toxic load. And I think we're also aware of so much in our world that is just tiny little burdens of toxins, whether it's the shampoos, the facial products, our makeup, our cleaning products. Recently, I was making a dairy-free ice cream as one of my projects or assignments that I had to do. And I had a tin of coconut milk, which I grabbed out of the pantry, which I bought at the vegetable shop. And I happened to glance down at a list of ingredients. And it sort of said coconut extract without 1%. And then I think there were at least 10 to 12 E numbers thereafter. And I was totally flabbergasted. Anyway, I managed to find one at Woolies with 81% coconut extract and a little bit of stabilizer. But it really highlighted for me the importance of really reading labels and what are we doing. I'm trying to make this beautiful dairy-free, healthy ice cream, but I'm putting in all these toxins. So my next challenge is to make my own coconut milk, but that's for another day. So yeah, to reduce toxins, reduce refined carbs and gluten, reduce dairy, sugar, alcohol, and caffeine, and then really boost your system with lots of color. I often tell my clients, little and big, to eat a rainbow every day. Try and have small bits of all color so you're getting that nutritional value and those nutrients and vitamins. Lots of leafy greens, cruciferous, omega-3s in the form of fish and seeds and nuts, and then superfoods, the chia seeds, the cacao, maca, ginger, turmeric, and to try and include a lot of that in the diet. Anyway, I could go on for ages. Sal, over to you, because I know you're as passionate as I am.
Thank you, Nix. Psychonutrition or nutritional psychiatry is a fledgling science, but there's a growing body of evidence that what we put into our bodies affects our behavior. The stomach is known as the second brain, with the vagus nerve so named as it wanders throughout the body, connecting the brain to many organs, including the gut. The vagus nerve is the brain's method of controlling the rest and digest system. So the relationship between mood and food and anxiety is getting more and more attention. We could be here all day, as Nikki said, but if we took a deep dive, but I'm going to highlight the easiest changes we can make. So the first step is to balance blood sugar, which is of paramount importance when it comes to anxiety. I certainly know what being hangry is all about. If we go to bed on an empty calorie fast food meal, we can expect to have a disruptive night's sleep as our blood sugar spikes and dips. A disruptive night's sleep leads to tiredness and stress and anxiety the following day. So eating a low glycemic index diet is preferable, which is essentially eating slow release carbohydrates such as dense bread, legumes like dried beans, lentils, peas, rolled oats. Sorry, that's a typo. Oats bran, citrus fruits, deciduous fruits, kiwi fruit, sweet potato, whole grain pasta, and lots of green vegetables.
Well, sorry, can you elaborate on the glycemic index?
Yeah, Brent, glycemic index ranks how quickly a carbohydrate food causes a person's blood sugar to rise. The scoring system is from 0 to 100, with pure sugar having a score of 100, and incidentally dates also have a score of 100. So foods with a low glycemic index value, less than 55, are preferred, and that reduces blood sugar spikes. So generally speaking, the more processed a food is, the higher the glycemic index.
Okay. And have you got some examples for us, Sal?
Some menu examples. I have, a basic breakfast would be a low GI bread with avo, boiled egg, baby spinach drizzled with olive oil, or cooked rolled oats with chopped nuts and apple and cinnamon. And then for lunch, chicken or tuna with lots of salad on a whole grain or seed wrap. And then dinner, cottage pie topped with sweet potato and butternut mash, served with peas and carrots and broccoli. And then snacks in between meals, biltong and fruit or nuts and fruit. It's important to include protein and fat together, which reduces the blood sugar spike and the response to the meal. Okay. So the mineral chromium helps to even out blood sugar. It's best taken with cinnamon, and doTERRA has a beautiful cinnamon bark oil that you can take a drop of in a capsule, or you can add to your rolled oats or smoothie in the morning. And chromium also assists with tiredness and sugar cravings. And interestingly enough, a general symptom of anxiety can be chromium deficiency can have a general symptom of anxiety. The doTERRA Smart and Sassy is a blend of grapefruit, lemon, ginger, cinnamon, and peppermint. And this helps to even out blood sugar as well. So you can put a drop in water to bring your body back into balance. So secondly, to avoid or considerably reduce stimulants like coffee, tea, chocolate, fizzy drinks, energy drinks. Using stimulants like these keep us in the sympathetic stressed nervous system. They activate our adrenal glands, which increases our adrenaline hormone, which helps us feel motivated and energized. But the more we have, the more we need, until we can't function without feeling flat. So ultimately, we want to be in our peaceful parasympathetic nervous system most of the day in order to rest, restore, and recover. So caffeine also suppresses melatonin, our sleep hormone, for up to 10 hours. I know these topics are not very popular and you're going to feel uncomfortable hearing this, but we end up wired and tired, not awake when we're awake and not asleep when we're asleep. So a simple way to reset your brain and reclaim mental alertness and stay calm and reduce anxiety is becoming caffeine free. By removing one drug like caffeine can be of greater benefit than adding another.
So Sal, do you mean to say we can't have coffee at all?
Well, with the advent of nutrigenomics, we are able to test for caffeine sensitivity. So some people can metabolize it and others can't. And if anxiety is getting out of hand, it's worth looking at the stimulants one's relying on, cutting down and noticing the difference. So if you struggle to give up altogether, doTERRA's copaiba oil is known to boost dopamine levels, which is what you get from your stimulant you rely on. And copaiba can support you through the change. Grapefruit oil also dissipates cravings and uplifts mood. Diffusing peppermint oil in the morning or adding a drop to your rooibos tea can really help give you that wake-up call you've come to rely on. And the added sugar that you have in your morning beverage may fall away with the flavor of the peppermint. If our beverage of choice is liquid sugar, our blood sugar spikes and crashes all day long. So you'll notice the people that enjoy liquid sugar have lots of liquid sugar. And the reason why is they're keeping themselves on an even keel with their blood sugar. So to stop that spike and dip. Our children's beverage of choice should be water. It's important to reduce water or liquid intake late in the afternoon to avoid disrupting sleep with trips to the loo in the night. Yeah.
So how much water is enough water?
So if you take the unit 30 and multiply it by your body weight in kilograms, it'll give you the number of milliliters per day that you should have. So a child weighing 50 kgs should then drink 1.5 liters of water a day. Obviously depending on the temperature of the day and also how much exercise they've had, in which case they would have more. And as Nick's mentioned, parents, especially mothers, set the stage for the atmosphere around our family for the day, especially during times of online schooling and times such as these that we find ourselves in. So self-care is vitally important. And as much as the jokes that go around on WhatsApp chat groups with regards to the proverbial glass of wine are funny, it's unfortunately displaying the symptom of society and exacerbating the problem. Because alcohol is a double agent. So for the first hour, it relaxes you by switching off adrenaline and promoting calm neurotransmitters, which is highly effective. It's a highly effective way to unwind, but similar to nicotine, using it every day, you become more stressed. Alcohol disrupts the natural dream cycle and dreaming regenerates the mind. Alcohol is a double agent in that it puts you to sleep, but it wakes you up at night. and you wake up more tired in the morning and irritable, and then you reach for your coffee, and then you're wired from the coffee, and then you need your alcohol to unwind in the evening. So it's a vicious cycle. So to reduce anxiety, you need to drink lightly or even take a few weeks break.
So Sal, is there not like a 80-20 rule when it comes to dark chocolate and wine? And please tell me.
There certainly is. A little bit of what you fancy does you good. But certainly if you are concerned about your anxiety levels and they're getting out of hand, I certainly would have a look at these. And yeah, just go easy on it, and not every day. So to assist with falling asleep, diffusing lavender oil has far more side benefits than a glass of wine ever will. Vetiver is also a wonderful oil to diffuse under your feet when going through a particularly stressful time. And then we all know not to have screens in our bedrooms, as the blue light suppresses melatonin, our sleep hormone, not to mention the radiation from the electromagnetic field that affects us if a device is charging in our bedrooms. Alarm clocks, the old-fashioned alarm clock, are a much healthier alternative to use to wake you up than using your phone. And if devices aren't in our bedrooms, we won't be tempted to go online if we do wake up in the night. So learning tools like Dr. Andrew Weil's 4-7-8 breathing technique can also bring our bodies out of the stress state into rest, restore, and recover. So if you're struggling to fall asleep at night, or if you wake up in the night and you need to get back to sleep, set the stage for deep sleep. If you do this breath 4 times over, so it's breathing in for the count of 4 in through the nose, and then holding for the count of 7, and then out through the mouth for the count of 8. And you do that 4 times, and it brings your body back into the parasympathetic nervous system to relax and fall asleep.
So
then, of course, sorry, Brent. Yeah.
After lockdown, the end of last year, actually, I did a course with the kids through Breathwork Africa on breathing, and it's amazing. And the bunny breath for me was one of the best things. I think kids also they laugh at me because I will sometimes sit there with my fingers. But yeah, so Breathwork Africa have got some good courses.
Yeah, no, they're wonderful tools for our children. And a positive from this whole time, I think, is that our kids are learning tools that we've only learned now in our 40s, and they're learning them much younger. Then, of course, there are supplements that we can add that are found in food, which help lower anxiety. And instead of taking the supplements, just ensure that the following foods are a big part of your diet. So magnesium is vital for sleep and for anxiety levels. It's found in spinach and legumes, nuts and seeds. Zinc found in sorry, Brent.
I'm interrupting you. Magnesium is brilliant for kids on Ritalin as well.
For the side effects.
Yeah.
And then zinc found in cashews, beef, egg yolks, liver, and oysters. Omega-3 fatty acids in fatty fish, nuts, and seeds. B vitamins, avos, and almonds. The minerals and vitamins in these foods spur the release of feel-good neurotransmitters such as serotonin and dopamine, and they're a safe and easy step in managing anxiety. Additives certainly play a big role in behavior. The flavor enhancer MSG, which is found in most processed foods, functions primarily as an excitatory neurotransmitter in the central nervous system, leading to anxiety. E numbers of like flavorants and colorants, preservatives, and artificial sweeteners are all cause neurophysiological symptoms, including anxiety. So, as Nikki said, learning to read food labels is so important in our health journey. And if you forget to take your glasses with you, simply stick to the periphery of the supermarket and fill your trolley with plants and avoid the dead aisle where all the foods are made in a plant are housed. So stick to whole foods rather than processed if you're not sure. So with tweaks and plenty of routine meal times together as a family, routine sleep and wake times, and strict screen times, we can bring our bodies back into balance, which will assist in reducing anxiety.
Also, I couldn't agree more. I truly believe that the boundaries of routine and human connection are also important. Boundaries and routine are crucial to a child with ADHD. So I believe that when children are online at home, the same rules and routines should really apply as when they're on campus. So same start, same end of the day. Human connection for me is just so important in developing one's EQ. And so physical interaction at school is crucial to the development of the children. I don't know, Nix, what is your opinion?
Well, certainly on boundaries and routine, I totally agree. Brains, I do think boundaries and some sense of routine give children a sense of stability and predictability, and that definitely decreases anxiety. Another lifestyle tweak that I think is really important is movement. Again, it increases our endorphins, decreases stress, decreases anxiety. And I always say to people, you don't need to sign up for an exercise program. Do whatever it is that you love and that you will do. And that's the best exercise, whatever it is that we are bound to do, rather than, doing something and signing up at a gym or a class that you might not, because it just doesn't suit you. And again, exercise accesses that parasympathetic nervous system.
Sorry, I was going to say, even those during lockdown, there were those exercise shows like the Joe and all that. To do that with your children is so important.
Absolutely. Absolutely, it was great. I think Jeff's been one of the best things to come out of lockdown, and such a success story as an exercise program, and so many people partook in that. And I think exercise is just, or movement is so good as a de-stressing technique. And so that's our other seeds. We've covered sleep and eating and exercise, and the D for de-stress, and then obviously the social interaction. So to also check in, are you doing enough in terms of de-stressing? So things like movement, yoga, prayer time, a walk in nature, meditation, journaling, breath work, and keeping a gratitude journal, or just having a gratitude practice. I often suggest to families at the dinner table, or when children go to bed, to just think of 3 things that have happened in their day that brought them joy. It was interesting. I saw this thing around gratitude this week. Sal and I both happen to read or hear it, but Cancer has a vibrational energy of 40, and gratitude has a vibrational level of frequency of 500. So it's just really not rocket science that we should all be tapping more into our gratitude to elevate our joy. On the breathwork side, a useful breath, I think we've touched on a few. Bren's mentioned the little bunny breath. Sal's mentioned the 4-7-8. And then another useful one is just the 5-5 breath, which is a useful adult and child breath. And you literally trace your hand breathing in as you go up the finger, and down as you go down. So it's just tracing the hand in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And that's usually 5 or 6 breaths in a minute. So it's a coherent breath, which is a really good calming breath. It can be done in the car on the way to school, before a test, before doing homework, really anywhere that you need to calm and center and ground. It can also be done kind of just get children or yourself to just open and close. I always explain that it's almost a bit like your lungs or the air going into your stomach as you open and close your hands. So that would be useful maybe to touch on a few oils that I bring into my practice a lot and use in the practice along with breath work. So the Calm Roller, which is lavender, frankincense, and lavender, peppermint, and frankincense, which I blend, and I often diffuse that just to ground the scent, and I'll give that to clients to take home with them, and then do a breath with it. So when they smell the scent, it takes them back into that association of being calm. I often also work with I give them what I call a little Brave Buddy, which is really just a little balloon filled with some flour or rice, and they've got their oil and their Brave Buddy, and they can access that and use that quite successfully, keep it in their pocket at school and just hold on to it if they're going through times of being afraid and doing something that they need to be brave for. And it's amazing how effective those sort of little things are. The other oil I've had great success with is peppermint. And I've used it successfully both for toilet training and pooing issues. You put a drop of peppermint in the toilet bowl and it supposedly relaxes the anus. And there's a little app called Poo Goes to Poo Land, which is also an absolute win for littlies. And they can watch Poo Goes to Poo Land, and they can have their drop of peppermint, and it's just magic, really. It's worked wonders with a number of little clients. And then I've also used peppermint sprays. I've had a few kids who either overheat or moms also overheat. It's a useful spray for menopause too, but for the one client in particular, he would go into panic the minute he got too hot. And so we made a peppermint spray, and that would just instantly cool him down. So lots of little tweaks. Other oils that I really think are useful in terms of anxiety. Sal's made this beautiful graphic, but the Peace Touch Roller, which brings on a sense of calm, contentment. It decreases anxiety and fear. And when Peace and Geranium together is really good in terms of decreasing anger feelings or angry feelings. Cheer is great for happiness, optimism, when you're feeling discouraged, sort of elevating a low mood. A sense of disconnectedness. It's also great for joint pain, just an added extra. Serenity, I think a lot of people will know it's sort of a really great sleep remedy, great to diffuse, great to roll sort of down the spine, under the feet, on the temples, breathe in your hands, good for insomnia, mood swings, calming fears, irritability, great for babies. Balance is a really good oil, again, for mood swings, for stress, for anxiety, good for OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, anger and rage, console for grief, for times of increasing comfort and hope and decreasing a sense of hopelessness. Motivate, again, increases confidence, courage, decreasing self-doubt and overwhelm. Passion for times of just needing that sort of boost, that passion, sort of passion for anything. Decreasing feelings of boredom, despondency, and increasing motivation. And I think my all-time favorite is Adaptive. I also put in the diffuser often in my practice. If it's not my calm blend, it'll be Adaptive. I use it. It's one of my favorite oils in terms of boosting mood, great for chaotic environments, great at Christmas time if you have a big family, good for feelings of tranquility, overthinking, ruminating thoughts, just general calm and relaxing, great for increasing motivation, soothing and uplifting, and great also for focus and concentration. And then along with these, I think the kids range, there's also some fantastic, Brave, Steady, and Calmer all work fantastically. I mean, Brave oil is just also a hot favorite in my practice in terms of maintaining positive mood and giving self-confidence and assurance. Steady, the grounding blend for relaxing and calming, and then Calm sort of for sleeping and calming. And then I think Breathe is just a really great oil too in terms of sleep, and Zen just for all things tummy. There's butterflies in the tummy, the nausea due to anxiety. And along with these, I think also the citrus oils are the tangerine, wild orange, bergamot, citrus bliss are all always great for uplifting, good for times of low mood, for fears, irritability. And then the grounding blends, we've mentioned vetiver, which is also another favorite of mine in terms of sleep, good for post-traumatic stress. Cedarwood, again, grounding, promoting a sense of belonging and connection. Also good for ADHD and ADD, and emotional balance. And yeah, I think lavender and Roman chamomile, obviously in terms of calming, and yeah, good, both good for stress, for grinding teeth, and in general emotional balance. And then the one that I don't know what's hiding on the far right. I can't actually see the bottle. Everybody's in the way.
Elevation.
Elevation. Yeah. So elevation, you know, the blend of energy, of energizing, balancing hormones, restoring that sense of buoyancy. It's sad to know that that's been discontinued, but if anybody's got a bottle, it's worth hanging on to and using it sparingly. Really good for decreased stress and anxiety. So yeah, I think those are some of my top ones.
Next, I was just going to add with elevation. I won't make it known how many bottles I've actually got now that's been discontinued, but if you just put a couple of drops in the shower when you have your early morning shower, I promise you it'll change your mood for the rest of the day. Just outside where the water hits the floor, it's my favorite thing in the whole world. And then the other thing is breathe for kiddies before they go and play sport. It just opens up the lungs. So I invited you. Next, is that it on the oils?
That is it on the oils, yes. I think we've covered quite a lot. I don't want to give any more information below. There's a whole lot that we've dumped on everybody's, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was just thinking how wonderful it would be if we were given a recipe book full of nutritious recipes and different diffuser blends with the termly calendar at school. I think it would be a great start to the year. And also, how about cooking classes?
Just get a calendar at the moment. It'd be nice to just get a calendar.
Yeah, that's one that we can stick to. Yeah, and cooking classes in junior school rather than baking day. I think there would be so many more children creating and packing their own lunch boxes if they knew what was healthy and what was not. So that's my opinion. But yeah, anyway, as I said, yeah. Anyway,
just jumping in there, my culinary nutrition, that's exactly what my focus is really to teach mothers and children about actually doing cooking classes about certain ailments, depression and anxiety being the top ones that I'll probably focus on, but teaching people good nutrition and teaching recipes and doing actual courses for very hands-on cooking to help people decrease these symptoms. So watch the space.
Oh, no, definitely. Next, I'll be me first. No. Yeah, in any event, I am also very interested to see how many people are looking for alternatives and more holistic approaches to health these days. It's interesting how the change is happening. But if there are any questions, feel free to ask them or put them in the chat box. Otherwise, if there is any information you want on a specific area that we've discussed, then please feel free to contact us or to speak to the person who invited you to the talk. So, but we're happy to take questions if there are any. Maybe don't ask Nix about technical computer issues.
Yes, I have a question. Do I order through Didi all these oils?
Yes.
Hi, do I order through Didi all these oils if I want them?
Yes, Didi would be the right
because she's the one that invited me. But I wanted to ask, there's one oil, I don't know the name of it, that you spoke about, Nikki spoke about in the beginning. It's called, I just put NB to the ones I wanted. You mentioned chromium cinnamon, the Smart and Easy. What's the second one you mentioned? It was Smart and Sassy.
Smart and Sassy, Sal mentioned.
And then there was the second one, the second oil. What was the other oil that you mentioned together with the Smart and Sassy? After your
cinnamon.
Yeah, it goes together with that one. You see, the chromium and cinnamon, and then you said smart, like you said, Smart and Sassy, and it's got grapefruit, lemon, ginger, cinnamon, and peppermint. And then there was a second oil that you were speaking about, which goes together with that one. Because I actually all of them.
Copaiba.
Sorry? Which
Copaiba.
one is it? Copaiba. How do you spell that?
C-O-P. C-O-P-A-I-B-A.
B-A. Okay, and then my last question, I put a question mark there. And then who's the help? Like somebody is the help who spoke about food, because I would like to get in contact with her as well about the food. Who specializes? Nikki, I also am going to get your contact from Didi.
That's me, Sally.
I'll tell you down now. I wrote down notes. I'm just looking for the page. I put a question mark there.
Didi will be able to connect you with all with everyone with the oils. She's a perfect person.
Right, yeah, because I'm gonna buy it through her under her. So I'm interested in all of them. Mostly. Yeah. Mostly. Yeah. So I'll contact her.
Lovely. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. And the food and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're lovely.
I'll just unmute myself now.
Any other questions? Pleasure, Robs. She gone. Nikki's just put her contact details in this chat bar. I don't know if you want to sell as well.
Yeah.
A really nice little protocol also for anxiety is using the Copaiba and the tongue every sort of 20 minutes and using an adaptive roller or a calm roller. That's a lovely one to do when panic strikes. I found that one. That's quite a nice combination.
There's a question next about grinding teeth next.
Grinding teeth, I think lavender or anything massaged into the Nick's probably would be a good person being our physio on the call, into the what are these now, mandibular or whatever muscles.
TMJs, yeah. So and Copaiba as well. Lavender and Copaiba is a good mix, I think, as well. Yeah. There are a few options. There are a few ideas coming in the chat as well. So
a few people have tried different things.
Frankincense and Deep Blue, and in Serenity as well.
And I think that's the thing with the oils. It's about intuitively trying, and a lot of them they have many beneficial uses, but some work better for some people, and others work better for others. So I think also to try to play with it, don't be afraid, and intuitively smell and decide what's best at that time.
And I often think an oil will call you. I know that sounds crazy, but it definitely can. So one day you can pick up, oh gosh, I'm trying to think, like Adaptive is one of my all-time favorites, but I would probably turn to Copaiba on another day. So just, yeah, I think they called you as well.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
I had a quick question about, new to essential oils. As far as dosage goes, or so many drops for children versus adults?
So there is definitely a dilution chart that we can send you because it depends on the age of the child as to how many drops. And for adults, in like a 10 ml roller, you probably put about 20 drops, sorry. But it obviously depends what you're treating as well. So if I say, for example, make a deep blue roller that I'm going to use on a particular muscle or strain on my arm, or whatever, I put quite a lot of drops with fractionated coconut oil, which helps with the absorption. So it does depend, but if you've got your oils already, then we can send you a dilution chart, because that'll help you if you've got babies as well as to how many oils. But if you're putting a drop, say into making up a roller and it says 1 drop and you put 2 or 3 accidentally, it's not going to harm you. So yeah, and if you put oil directly on your skin and you find that it you know, that maybe it's so like with my daughter once, I made a roller for her and she got a few lumps, like a rash. I just got more fractionated coconut oil, rubbed it on, and it disappeared. So it was just, I just needed to dilute the oils more. Does that answer your question, Shannon? Okay.
And the elderly and the young have got the same dilution. Friends, there's a question.
Sorry.
What?
Who wants this one? Okay, weaning kids of ADHD meds. I think you've got to be very careful with that, and I would look at just personally look at it very holistically. So I think I would work with the psychiatrist. I mean, I certainly have deal with psychiatrists, and I think it's really important to look at it in terms of all those seeds. Look at sleep, look at diet, movement is fundamental. Burning off that energy, getting in some de-stressing techniques, and then perhaps slowly decreasing over time. But yeah, I think the one thing with ADHD, and I mean, Brains, you can comment too. It's routine and boundaries.
Strict routine, yeah. Sorry, I was
No, and I think for some kids, it is certainly possible, and others I've seen just socially battle so much with that hyperactivity component that it's sometimes, you know, it is just sometimes what you have to use to keep them interacting and connecting with other people. But each child's different, and it's always worth a try. But I think it's got to be looked at very holistically. In terms of, sorry, Brent, carry on.
No, carry on.
No, I was going to move on to the anorexia question.
Yeah, no, I'll hand that one back to you.
Did you want to comment more on the ADHD?
I think, yeah, I often get asked. I think that I support you 100%. Next, every child is different. You've got to speak to your doctor. I do think there is a time and a place for medication, definitely. And you've got to consider your child as well, because it's not something to play around with. And I think the anxiety that goes with ADHD is definitely underestimated. It's big. So yeah, I would definitely use your oils. Use your oils with your children and then take it from there in terms of what you do. But don't just take them off medication at all. Anyway, next, this one to do.
Of the anorexia, I would be doing it a disservice to comment on that right now. I haven't used oils as such. I haven't treated an anorexic for a while. It's not an area I love to work in. I used to, but it's always quite hard work. So yeah, I can't really comment. I can do some research. I'm very happy to have a discussion and do some research around that. Top 2 oils to recommend for high anxiety. Off the top of my head, I would, it's a close one between Copaiba, Vetiver, and Adaptive. I don't know what the others would say. Calm Roller too. High anxiety.
Adaptive next. Yeah.
Adaptive wins. Cell, mix.
Yeah, Copaiba is my favorite. But yeah, Adaptive as well.
So yeah.
I do have a friend who uses Copaiba. She puts a drop of Copaiba under her tongue every morning and every evening. And she said that has been life-changing for her. So that's worth a try. And literally 1 drop. Yeah.
Sometimes even 2 or 3. On the high anxiety, I would also suggest lifestyle tweaks. I definitely would look at diet and sleep and all the seeds. I think those are fundamental. And generally, when I work with anxiety, I look on all those levels and, you know, using the oils alongside.
Yeah, all the ones you mentioned, also balance and serenity are blending those all on their own, putting them under the feet. I've heard I forget her name. She's a nurse in the US who talks a lot about oils and anxiety. And she said that putting balance under her feet every day was a real lifesaver for her and really helped her. So she has a little roller bottle of balance. And I've actually now made one of balance and vetiver. So balance is actually pre-diluted. So you can just put a little bit of vetiver into that, or just balance itself and put a little roller ball on the top and have that next to your bed for getting out, you know, before going to sleep or getting out of bed. It's a nice oil to use.
Next was that Susan Johnson.
It wasn't Susan Johnson. No. It was.
But she also recommended a roller with 10 drops Serenity, 10 drops Balance, 10 drops Wild Orange, and 10 drops Helichrysum for that, also the nervine effect and the cell rejuvenation.
Okay, yeah.
Anything else before we finish off? We don't want to keep you too much longer.
And use elevation in your bathtub. Absolutely.
The trick, I think, with using oils in the bathtub is obviously oil and water don't always mix. So ideally put them into some Epsom salts, put your drop into your Epsom salts, and then put the Epsom salts into the bath, and then it dilutes it so much better. Or even a little bit of salt, but
or a little bit of coconut oil.
Okay, yeah. So it doesn't sit on top of the water.
Yeah, I can't bath without oils now.
Yeah, even our little boy got back from hockey today and he's exhausted and sore, and he's like, oh, please can I just have a bath with some Epsom salts and oils?
Nothing better. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Sal. You guys have been great. And Nikki Elwood for being our host and monitoring the chat box. Thank you, Nick.
The last time I do one of those waiting room links. Anyway, but we got through it. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Brian and Nick and Sal, for sharing both your professional experience and your personal experiences with us. And it's also, you know, a lot of us, it's a reminder that a lot of it's not rocket science. There are bits that we really do need to learn, but a lot of it's coming back to basics. And classes like this are so important for helping us to remember that, and just to return to some of these techniques, the 4-7-8 breath, the gratitude, a bit of exercise, really knowing that actually wine and coffee aren't going to solve all our problems. They feel better in the short term, but long term, actually, we need to do something that's a little bit more proactive rather than reactive. So looking after ourselves more proactively. So thank you, guys. And thanks, everyone, for joining us. We will have this as a recording as well, so we'll be able to share it with everyone.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, so a few people dropped in and out. Great, with pleasure. Thanks, everyone.
Yes, bye.
I'm just going to end the call. Thanks, Sal. Thanks, Nick.
Yes, thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Nick.
Well done. Nice to hear from you and your experiences.